She's supposedly sunning herself in Lanzarote, posting happy holiday updates, and telling the love of her life to move on. But what if none of it was real? What if the woman everyone thinks is living her best life in Spain is actually locked in a closet just a few streets away from Coronation Street's cobbles? That's exactly the nightmare Corrie has just confirmed, and it's turned one of the soap's most talked about storylines into a genuinely chilling thriller. If you've been keeping half an eye on Coronation Street over the festive period, you'll know something has felt off about Carla Connor's sudden disappearance. Well, now we know why. This isn't a holiday. This isn't a woman finding herself. This is a kidnapping, orchestrated by one of the most quietly terrifying villains the show has produced in years. And today we're breaking down exactly what's happened, how we got here, what it means for the characters caught in the middle, and where this shocking storyline could be heading next. So let's set the scene, because if you haven't been following every twist and turn of this saga, you're going to want the full picture before we get into the latest bombshell. The background: how Carla, Lisa, and Becky ended up in this mess. At the center of this storm is Carla Connor, played by Allison King, one of Weatherfield's longest-serving and most iconic characters. Carla has spent years at the helm of the underworld factory, weathering business collapses, personal tragedies, and some of the most dramatic relationship fallouts the Cobbles have ever seen. In more recent months, Carla found something that looked like genuine happiness with Lisa Swain, a police officer who moved to the street with her daughter Betsy. But Lisa's past came with baggage, and that baggage has a name: Becky Swain. Becky is Lisa's estranged wife, a character whose presence has cast a long shadow over Lisa and Carla's relationship almost from the moment she arrived. What started as awkward tension between an ex and a new partner has, over the course of the past several months, spiraled into something much darker. Viewers watched Becky worm her way back into Lisa and Betsy's lives under the guise of wanting normality and co-parenting stability, all while quietly working to undermine Carla at every turn. The tension reached a boiling point around Lisa and Carla's wedding plans, when Lisa was forced to confront the fact that she couldn't legally marry Carla while still married to Becky. That revelation gave Becky exactly the kind of leverage she wanted, and from there her manipulation only escalated. She began inserting herself into family moments, needling away at Lisa's insecurities, and positioning herself as the stable, understanding option compared to a relationship she painted as chaotic and uncertain. Then came the moment that had fans genuinely rattled. Carla appeared to simply vanish, seemingly jetting off to Lanzarote without much warning, leaving Lisa confused and hurt. Messages allegedly from Carla began appearing on her phone and social media, suggesting she was relaxing in the Spanish sun and was ready to walk away from Lisa for good. To the residents of Weatherfield, it looked like a woman who'd had enough. To sharp-eyed viewers, it looked like something else entirely. The big reveal: Carla was never in Spain. Here's where the story takes its darkest turn yet. Coronation Street's Christmas Eve episode finally confirmed what many fans had already started to suspect. Carla never left Weatherfield at all. She's been held captive by Becky the entire time, gagged and trapped inside a closet in Becky's own flat, while Becky methodically dismantles her relationship with Lisa from the inside out. Think about the audacity of that plan for a moment. While Carla is locked away, unable to speak, unable to defend herself, unable to reach out to the people who love her, Becky has been using Carla's own phone to send messages pretending to be her. She's been crafting a fake narrative of a woman who's happily moved on, all so that Lisa will stop waiting and start falling back into Becky's arms instead. And it's working, at least on the surface. In the lead-up to this reveal, viewers watched Becky seize every opportunity to get physically and emotionally closer to Lisa again, from offering comforting gestures during a stressful moment to more intimate advances that Lisa, worn down and confused by Carla's apparent rejection, found herself responding to. It's a masterclass in psychological manipulation, chipping away at someone's judgment by controlling the information they receive. But Lisa's feelings for Carla haven't disappeared, and that's what makes this storyline so gut-wrenching to watch. Even as Becky works to pull her back in, Lisa can't fully let go. In one particularly emotional moment, she recorded a heartfelt voice note on Christmas Eve, essentially telling Carla that she still wants her back and that it's Carla she truly loves. It's a message clearly meant for a woman living freely in Spain, unaware that it's actually destined to be intercepted and deleted by her captor. Because that's exactly what happens. Becky, still tampering with Carla's phone, receives Lisa's heartfelt plea and instead sends back a cold, dismissive reply pretending to be Carla, telling Lisa it's time for them both to move on. It's a brutal twist that leaves Lisa believing the person she loves has rejected her, when in reality that person is bound and desperate just a short distance away. Escalating danger and a detective circling the truth. As if the kidnapping itself wasn't dramatic enough, the story escalates further from here. With Becky essentially living Carla's absence to her advantage, she moves further into Lisa and Betsy's home life, positioning herself as a source of comfort and stability during what looks like a painful breakup. It's a calculated, cold performance, and one that puts her dangerously close to achieving exactly what she set out to do, erasing Carla from Lisa's life for good. Fortunately, not everyone in Weatherfield is convinced by Becky's story. Kit Green, a police officer with sharp instincts and a growing sense that something doesn't add up, begins quietly digging into Carla's supposed departure. Kit's suspicions represent the audience's own doubts made flesh, someone within the show finally starting to ask the questions viewers have been shouting at their screens for weeks. Can he piece together the truth about where Carla really is before Becky's plan reaches its horrifying conclusion? The stakes only get higher from here. Reports from spoiler previews indicate that Carla eventually manages to fight back, overpowering Becky during a desperate struggle. It's a moment of hope after what has been a genuinely distressing ordeal for the character, but it doesn't mark the end of her nightmare. Becky, despite being knocked down, manages to recover and retaliate, ultimately subduing Carla once again and keeping her trapped. The cat-and-mouse tension between captive and captor becomes the emotional engine of the storyline heading into the new year, with Carla snatching at moments of opportunity, while Becky claws back control each time. Adding another layer of chaos, Becky's cover story starts to unravel in unexpected ways. At one point, she claims to have been attacked by associates connected to a previous storyline villain, using the excuse to justify an urgent need to flee to Spain herself, presumably to keep tightening her fabricated narrative about Carla's whereabouts. It's a desperate move from a character who is clearly starting to feel the walls closing in, even if the people around her haven't caught on yet. Fan reactions and the buzz across social media. Unsurprisingly, this storyline has become one of the most discussed Coronation Street plots of the festive period. Fans have flooded social media with theories, dissecting every clue the show has dropped about Carla's supposed trip to Lanzarote, from suspicious phrasing in her messages to the timing of her sudden disappearance. Longtime viewers have praised the show for building genuine tension rather than rushing to the reveal, with many admitting they had their suspicions for weeks before Christmas Eve's episode confirmed it. There's also been considerable discussion around Becky as a villain. Soap fans love a good baddie, and Becky's blend of calculated manipulation and desperate improvisation has drawn comparisons to some of the show's most memorable antagonists. Rather than a mustache-twirling caricature, she's been written as someone whose cruelty comes wrapped in soft, sympathetic packaging, which many viewers say makes her all the more unsettling. Entertainment outlets covering the soap have highlighted just how dark this storyline has become, noting that a kidnapping plot of this intensity marks a significant escalation even by Coronation Street's dramatic standards. At the same time, there's genuine sympathy pouring out for Lisa, who has spent this entire storyline being deceived and emotionally manipulated without any idea of the truth. Fans have pointed out the tragic irony of her heartfelt voice note being intercepted and twisted into a rejection, calling it one of the most heartbreaking moments of the storyline so far. And of course, there's real concern and tension around Carla herself, with many viewers eager to see her finally break free and expose Becky for who she truly is. what this means for the characters and the show going forward. So, where does this leave everyone? For Carla, this ordeal is likely to leave lasting scars, both physically and emotionally. Being held captive by someone so close to your partner's life is the kind of trauma that soap storylines tend to explore for months after the initial crisis passes, and it wouldn't be surprising to see this experience reshape Carla's trust, her relationship with Lisa, and her standing in the wider Weatherfield community once the truth comes out. For Lisa, the fallout could be just as significant. Once she learns that she was manipulated into intimacy with Becky while believing Carla had abandoned her, the emotional wreckage will need serious unpacking. It raises real questions about whether her relationship with Carla can survive the deception, even though Carla herself is entirely blameless in what happened. Soap storylines often use situations like this to test whether love can withstand betrayal engineered by someone else entirely, and this looks set to be exactly that kind of test. And then there's Becky. Villains in soaps rarely get away clean, and given how elaborate her scheme has become, it seems almost inevitable that her downfall is coming. The real question is how far she's willing to go before she's caught, and reports already suggesting that her reckless actions trigger a much larger, dramatic incident down the line hint that this story is building towards something even bigger than a simple unmasking. When a soap villain starts improvising cover stories and fleeing the scene, it's usually a sign that their carefully constructed lies are about to collapse spectacularly. For Kit Green, this storyline could mark a defining moment in his time on the show, positioning him as the one who finally connects the dots and brings Carla's ordeal to light. Whether he manages to save the day before things spiral further, or whether Carla has to fight her own way out first, remains to be seen. But either way, this feels like a storyline building toward a genuinely explosive resolution. What fans are speculating could happen next? As always with Coronation Street, the spoiler mill is churning with theories about where this goes from here. Some fans believe Becky's unraveling cover story, including her claims of being targeted by dangerous associates, hints at a wider criminal storyline bubbling beneath the surface, one that could pull in other Weatherfield residents before it's resolved. Others are speculating that Carla's escape attempts will form a tense, drawn-out sequence of near misses before she finally gets free, milking every ounce of drama from the situation. There's also plenty of chatter about how Lisa will react once she learns the truth. Will she be able to forgive herself for the moments she shared with Becky, believing Carla had already moved on? Will this experience push her and Carla closer together in the long run, bonded by having survived Becky's manipulation, or will the trust be too badly damaged to repair? And what about Betsy, caught in the middle of the adults in her life, making increasingly complicated choices? Fans are watching closely to see how the fallout affects her too. Some viewers are also wondering whether the storyline is being built as one of Coronation Street's big set-piece moments, given hints of a larger dramatic incident connected to Becky's actions still to come. If that's the case, we could be looking at one of the show's biggest storylines of the year reaching its climax in the weeks ahead, something the marketing and press coverage around the show would likely lean into heavily as it approaches. Wrapping it all up. To bring it all together, Coronation Street has confirmed the shocking truth that Carla Connor never left Weatherfield for a relaxing break in Spain. She has instead been held captive by Becky Swain, who has spent the festive period manipulating Lisa, faking messages, and working to permanently erase Carla from her family's life. What looked like a simple relationship breakdown has revealed itself to be a calculated, dangerous act of psychological and physical control, and the fallout is only just beginning. With Kit Green closing in on the truth, Carla fighting for any chance to escape, and Becky's carefully built lies starting to crack under pressure, this is shaping up to be one of the most intense storylines Coronation Street has delivered in quite some time. Whether Carla makes it out safely, how Lisa reacts to the devastating truth, and just how far Becky is willing to go to keep her secret buried are all questions that Corrie fans will be desperate to see answered in the episodes ahead. That's everything we know so far about this dramatic Coronation Street storyline. What do you think is going to happen next? Do you think Carla escapes before Becky's plan fully unravels, or is there an even bigger twist waiting around the corner? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss another Coronation Street update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.